Hi, I'm John Moses, and welcome to this week's edition of the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show. Later in today's show, we'll be joined by Chargers defensive end Rob Hill. But now, we welcome to the show, as always, Chargers head coach Pete Rossimondo. So, Coach, coming off a 34-20 victory over American International, how did you feel about your team's performance overall in this game?
I thought we started off slow, as usual, I guess. Seems to be the trend, but I think I was really proud of our team. I told them on Sunday I was proud of the way they came back in the second half and put it together. Coming off an emotional win and over Southern, it's really difficult sometimes to get back to that peak emotionally, and we weren't finding that in the first half. In the second half, we were able to find that and come out and perform.
The Yellow Jackets' offense was predicated on a lot of misdirection. Did you feel like your defense did a good job in their discipline?
Oh, yeah, I thought we did a great job with the run game. Part of the problem, we just didn't tackle well in the first half. We missed a bunch of tackles that gave up some plays, and the misdirection really didn't give us as much trouble as I thought it would.
Kevin Arduino finished his day 17 of 27, 203 yards and an interception in the air, but he ran for 50 yards on the ground. Did you feel like you really contained him well?
Well, we did. I think we set out to make it a one-dimensional game, more of a passing game on his part, and we did that. So that was certainly one goal that we accomplished defensively.
AIC, right at the end of the half, they had a 3rd and 15 from their own 49, and they were able to convert, without any timeouts. So they came up and they ended up getting a field goal out of that. What did that momentum really mean going into the locker room? And was your team frustrated at halftime?
I don't know about the team, but I know I sure was. I felt like we may have given it to them as a coaching staff. We called a timeout thinking that we would get the ball back with some time to possibly put some points on the board ourselves, and we gave them the opportunity, and fortunately for them they converted, unfortunately for us.
What were some of the halftime adjustments you made in this game?
Well, I looked to our seniors for some leadership. I told them that it was all about them to get out there and make sure that this team was ready to play and focused, and they certainly did that. And offensively, we just sort of opened it up a little bit. We got into some more spread sets, and we did some more stuff with Ronnie Nelson playing the quarterback position, and we did a great job moving the football that way.
Well, coming right out of the half, in the second half, Rob Hill on the game's first play of the second half strips Terrell Williams. Bernard Risco ends up scooping and scoring it. Talk about the momentum that was.
That's one of our seniors. Rob's one of our seniors, the guy that we asked to go out there and make a play, and he did. And Bernard was Johnny on the spot and picked the ball up and, ran it for a touchdown.
So let's take a look at this play right here. It's a handoff to the right, a flip out to Terrell Williams.
Yeah, they had run that play earlier in the game, and Rob was there, and he missed the tackle, and there he actually was right there to make the tackle. He wasn't going to give it up this time, and was able to pop the ball out with his left hand, and Bernard was right there to pick it up. And Bernard was a former offensive player, so he knew what to do with it when he got it in his hand.
Ryan Oshesky finished his day with 124 yards. It seemed like your team struggled to be able to get the ball down the field. Big plays are a big part of your offense. Why did you really struggle with that this week?
They were playing really deep over the top, and they weren't letting us get behind them, and they were allowing us to run the ball, which is what we sort of did in the second half. And we took advantage of Ryan's ability to run the spread option, and Ronnie Nelson's ability to do that as well, and we were just able to move the ball at that point that way. So sometimes you have to take what they give you.
Your front four actually caused 2 different turnovers in this game, and as we'll see in this second highlight clip, this was really the turnover that sealed the game for you guys. AIC was in the red zone at that point. Can you break us down a little bit what happened here?
Well, they're in the red zone. They're driving for to cut it within 7. I believe Raheem puts his hand up in the air, pops the ball down, and there's Kervin Edouard, who's makes a great play to catch the ball in the air while the offensive guy is holding him actually. So it was a tremendous defensive play and just gave us a great spark, and we didn't turn the ball back over to him after that.
Yeah, boy, on that highlight, you really got a great look at Raheem Stanley and how much of a load he really is for some offensive linemen. He's really hard to block right now.
Yeah, he's tremendous. He's been it's been great to see him that productive. Last year we only had him for a portion of the season, and we had a glimpse of it his freshman year, but we're really seeing what he's all about right now.
Now, we talked about, they were taking away a lot of the deep plays, weren't letting you get over the top, but, you still found the red zone target that's been really big this year. Jason Thompson, 2 different times caught touchdowns in this game that gave you a lead.
Yeah, he caught 2 touchdowns. He threw for, I think, 37 yards, 1 for 1 on on a little gadget play we had for him, and Jay's been money. He's been money for us.
Jason had one of the best passer ratings I've ever seen in a college game. I think it's 410 was the number I saw.
Yeah, the only thing he was missing was a touchdown.
So let's take a look at those two highlights here. Break us down this first play here. What's the coverage look like?
I think they're playing man-to-man here down below, and they have a safety over the top. They're cheating to Demetrius, and because we throw to Demetrius a lot in the red zone. As you can see the safety running, they leave Jay one-on-one with a safety, and Ryan just makes a heck of an offensive throw here.
Right, and the safety actually reads this play, but Ryan just puts that ball in a spot where only Jason can grab it.
Yeah, it would have been a tough play for him to get to that ball where he was on the opposite hash. So it was a great read by Ryan, a great throw.
Now in the second highlight here, tell us about Jason Thompson again. I mean, this is just a great example of Thompson having way too much size for any corner at this level.
Well, this is, it all predicated on based on what Ronnie was doing for us at a spread option. He runs the spread option there and pulls the ball down, make it look like he's going to run the ball inside, and then pulls it back. And then we have Jason run a post route down the middle of the field. And, once he gets behind you, it's really tough for the defender to make a play on the ball.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Ronnie Nelson in this game. As you got on in the third quarter, he really moved a couple of drives by himself. They had a lot of trouble in the front seven trying to stay disciplined against Ronnie in that read option. Talk a little bit about Ronnie and what he did in this game.
Well, he prepared himself for the game. I think that's the most important thing. You knew going into the game he was prepared. He was ready to take the reins whenever it was called upon him. And the great thing was to see him and Ryan communicating on the sideline, cheering for each other both ways.
Sure.
And, Ronnie did a great job when his number was called of stepping up and making plays. And that's what we expect from all our players.
Ronnie's actually one of 3 different players you've used this season as a punter. But it seemed like Chris Schifo actually punted the ball very well in this game. Who do you think your punter is going to be the rest of the way this year? Do you anticipate continuing to change?
Well, we try to, Chris had a little injury problem early on in the season with punting. He was still okay to kick. So we moved to Ronnie because he did have a very strong leg. He was a punter in high school, and he's very skilled at handling the ball. And then Ronnie hurt his ankle last week, so we gave Corey Wynn a shot. And Chris just asked for the ball, in the second half of the game. We gave it to him. I think he was over 45-yard average.
Yeah, that's right. Tom Hurd was a bit of a surprise scratch this week. I saw him dressed on the sidelines. It looked like he was trying to give it a go at some point in the second half. How serious is that quadriceps injury, and do you expect to have him on Saturday?
It was serious enough that he didn't practice most of the week. And he could have played. We made the decision as a staff not to play him so that he would be healthy for the remainder of the season. There's always a risk with a muscle pull that he pulls it again and then he's out for the remainder of the season, as we saw last year with Jason Thompson. So we're really trying to be cautious so we can get him out there full speed.
This Saturday, your team welcomes the Bentley University Falcons. They lost a heartbreaker on Saturday to Southern Connecticut. What can we expect their strengths to be?
Well, they're going to be a very disciplined football team. One thing you'll see is they're doing what they're coached to do, and they're doing it very, very well. They got a lot of upperclassmen playing on both sides of the ball, guys that have seen action. And, it should be a heck of a football game. I mean, it always has been between us and Bentley, even, going back to 2009. So I wouldn't anticipate anything different from this one.
This game actually pits 2 of the top quarterbacks in the conference. Ryan Olszewski and Bryant Johnson both stand in the top 5 in passing yards per game this season and are the top 2 in passing touchdowns. What are Bryant's strengths, and how does he compare to Ryan?
I don't think they're comparable other than the fact that I think they're both excellent quarterbacks. Bryant he's very skilled at what they do offensively. He runs their read option very, very well. He operates their entire offense about as good as I've seen a quarterback do. When he drops back to throw, he has a plan, and the ball's coming out of his hands fast. So it's difficult to sack him. Unless you really do a great job in coverage, you're not going to sack the guy. And that's pretty much what you're going to see from him. I think, the difference is Ryan's bigger. He's got probably a little bit stronger arm down the field, but, you wouldn't know that by watching Brian on film. He's a heck of a ball player.
Bentley's defense has tallied 61 tackles for loss through 7 games. What is their defense like? What type of coverage do they like to run? How do you think your team matches up with them?
They're very disciplined in their coverage. You're not going to get them on double moves and things of that nature that we may have gotten against some other teams. They're going to be they're smaller than what you would normally see at this level defensively, but very quick, very athletic, and they do enough defensively that they're going to make you think on offense.
It seems like every week there's a guy that's a bit of an unsung hero. A guy who makes a play but it doesn't show up in the box score. Was there a guy this Saturday that was really key to your victory?
It's always our offensive line. I think John Irwin played tremendous. Played another great game. Dave Stedman was the lineman of the game. Thierry Andrus was a guy who stepped in for us at right tackle when Zach Conklin went down last week in the Southern game, and Thierry played very, very well again this week. Just a sophomore stepping in there and playing really well and giving us the opportunity to win.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck this Saturday against Bentley.
Thanks, John.
When we come back, we'll be joined by Chargers defensive end Rob Hill. This is the Charlie's Cavalry Coaches Show. Let's go back.